Can you bring that? Oh, never mind. Hold on. It's fine.
It's all light out there. It's like super
I
dark
know it's
here.
there's a lot of sun. So we are live already. We're just gonna give it a
Okay,
few
cool.
minutes, um, so people could people could come in. Just give it a few more minutes. How's everything? How you been? Did you work today?
I did work today. I did work. I'm tired, but
I know. What time is it there?
it's 9 p.m. on the dot.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. Not too. It's not that late. Your ass be up all the time, anyways.
I do. I do.
All right,
All
guys.
times of night.
I know, right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Indicted TV. I'm your host, Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram as well. On today's episode, we have Mercedes. Mercedes, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you grew up.
Um, so my so I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I grew up. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I still live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that's where I was federally indicted. So I grew up on the east side of Milwaukee.
Okay.
My whole family is from there, and that is also where I caught my federal indictment case. So I'm from
Okay.
the east side.
How
That's
how
good.
was the your household growing up? You know, like you have brothers, sisters, like that kind of stuff.
So growing up, for the most part was pretty cool. Like I have a pretty close knit family. Um, growing up, I it wasn't really traumatic. My mom ended up going to prison too, though, when I was younger. So about 7 years old. She didn't get out until I was close to like 11.
Oh wow.
Um, so yeah, but so for a while I actually so while my mom was in prison, I actually lived with a friend of hers um for the time she was there, and then my mom came home. I went back with my mom for a little while, and then my mom got in trouble again, so I went and lived with my dad. And in my dad's household, it was five of us girls. I'm the oldest girl
Oh
here in
okay.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Growing up, it was just my dad in the house, and then my stepmom and five of us girls. So pretty cool household. Like my parents, or they pretty much worked all the time. So I didn't grow up in like a bad household. I don't want to say that. I mean, so
Yeah,
I could have definitely seen
you girls were just
some of the
doing your
things.
thing at home. You girls, at least it was you girls, and your parents were at work trying to provide, and not like you girls at home starving.
Right.
Like you had love.
Oh yeah, for sure. We definitely had. If we didn't have a lot of money, we had a lot of
Love.
love.
All you girls in the house. Did you guys fight? Like, how was you guys' relationship?
We fought like sisterly fights, but it wasn't like real bad, like where we were falling out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Pretty
I
normal
think
shit.
my biggest thing, yeah, pretty normal stuff.
Also, at what age did you start to get in trouble? Like, or was this just like a one thing time thing?
So I really started getting in trouble. So this was my. I didn't really start getting in trouble until I was about 20 years old. So I was pretty good. And then see, I got this boyfriend who was a drug dealer, and that's kind of where things started going downhill because I was
Okay,
following behind him and
I get it. I get
he
it.
was doing.
So before we
So
get to
that's how that
that,
started.
before we get deeper into that, what was the craziest thing you did? Because you didn't go to juvenile hall, so like, what was the craziest thing you did as a kid?
I think like the craziest thing for me was more like, I don't know really. I didn't get into trouble like skipping school,
Yeah, you're
things
just like a
like that.
normal
I thought it
girl.
was like to like going to the bars and the clubs was like mainly the thing I did, but I never went to juvenile detention or anything like that.
Okay, that's a good thing. That is definitely a good thing. So you didn't get in trouble as an adult besides your big federal indictment.
Well, I had like a marijuana case,
Huh.
something super small, but like real big.
But did you go to jail?
So I did not.
Okay. I see her
Well,
trying to. I see her trying to side bust
I
in
should say
the.
they kind of. I got it. So I say that it kind of ran. I did go to for the weed. I went to like a work release program. So I would have to sleep inside of um it was called at the time, they don't have it anymore here, but it was called CCC at the time. They closed it down. But at that time, um that I would have to sleep there, but I could leave out during the day. So I'd be gone all day and I'd only have to come in at night to sleep there because I'd be gone for childcare and for work.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't like a jail thing. It was
But
just
you
like
did get
it was just
arrested.
like a big.
They took you to the police station, and you went through that process.
I did, yeah,
Okay,
yep.
well, tell us
My bill was like $500 or something.
tell us about that. Like how you felt. Like how you were still young. And, it was your first time actually getting in trouble. Like, did you think about your dad? Like your sisters? Like, tell us a little bit more about that. Like your little experience getting arrested.
So, so when I first was arrested, my first time, I was crying like a baby. And I remember calling home to my dad, and I didn't really get booked in until like the evening time. So by the time I made it in, I think my bail was like something really simple. It might have been like 500 or $1,000. I don't remember. It was something like really low though. And calling my dad for him to bail me out, and he was like, "Well, I don't have cash on me, so you gotta wait until the bank's open." And
Uh
I
huh.
was like crying, like, and I remember going into my room and I was like, didn't even want to make my bed. Like, I'm not gonna be here. I'm getting ready to go. And so I was crying a little. So I was like, my dad's like, "What are you crying for? I'm coming to get you." And they end up bailing me out that evening, and I end up getting out at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't spend a full night in jail.
Got it. Got
So
it. Got
that
it.
was the.
Okay. Um. So you obviously never hit the county or any of that stuff.
No, not until the federal case.
All right, so this is Indicted TV. Why don't you tell us why you got indicted? Your charges, how it went down, everything. Obviously, things that you could say.
Okay, so this crazy, crazy story. I remember it. So it was the 4th of July, and I caught my case, and it was actually not federal. For the feds came and picked it up later in
Okay.
like October. So it was a state case at 4th of July. And I remember at the time getting in the car with my ex-boyfriend, and I was like, just gonna ride and smoke some weed, just whatever. And I remember just we were at a stop sign, and then I see like all these cars coming, like all these police cars, and it was like nowhere to go, and there was drugs in the car. And so they arrested us, and I actually had the drugs trying to conceal them. And they went when we made it to the district. They had a female officer come in and take the drugs
The
from me,
district
like
is
actually go inside
the
the
district
district.
is what you
So
guys call the
like,
police station or something?
yep, so we have different districts. So
Okay.
there's different. There's like fifth district, first district, and that's the police stations. Each police station.
Oh, okay. So
And so
it's like
the east side.
every city and Milwaukee has their own little police station, like everywhere, I guess, right? You guys just
So
call
like
it
every
district,
part
yeah.
of town, there's like different districts. So
Okay, I get
for the
it.
east side of Milwaukee, it's the fifth district.
Okay, I guess like LA County, I understand. I'm just like, we're totally different states. It's different language. It's just like, it's for that everybody could understand.
So is your police station where it's just one? Like, is that how it is in LA? Is it just one big
No, no, no.
police
There's
station, or do you guys have a lot of different ones?
no. We have a huge one in downtown Los Angeles, but every tiny city in Los Angeles has its own police station. So it's like a million of them bitches.
Okay. So Milwaukee has small districts around each town. So
Got
like the
it.
east side, the south side, the north side, there's different districts, and that's what we call them.
Okay,
So for the
so
east side,
I get it. Okay, so you got to the district, and there was a lady right there waiting for you.
yep. And
Okay.
so I remember them taking me in a paddy wagon, and I'm like, oh my God. And I get to the district, and she takes me into the bathroom, and um, she was like, because they kind of see me stuff something, because they ran up on the car, and I try to like stuff it real fast, like
Uh
try to
huh.
conceal it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like yelling, like, put your fucking arms up. Like, they're like, we're gonna shoot this window out. Like, and they end up busting the window with like the that bar thing they have,
Mm-hmm. The
like the
batons.
so they bust the window, the batons. There you
Yeah.
go. So they bust the windows. They kind of see me conceal it. So she was like, "Are you gonna give it to me?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Uh,
I don't have anything." And so, yep, she made me get on the toilet and sit on the edge of the toilet and open my legs. And she obviously could see the bag sticking out. So she ended up getting the bag.
dang. That's crazy. How did that
And
make? How
yep,
did that make you feel? As us like a woman, it's like, oh, you know.
I was more nervous. I don't even think I thought about that. I was just more nervous about the whole situation. Like, man, what am I going to do? Like, oh my God.
Shit, sorry. So okay, so you're there. You're going to you get to the so that there you're already at the county jail, right? For your case.
So there you go from the district, you go to the city jail, which is downtown Milwaukee. And then from the city jail, you have to go to the county. The
Mm-hmm.
county is run by our sheriff's department. So it's a little different. So you got to go through like the booking process. So they make you go from Milwaukee County Jail, I mean, from the district to the city jail, and then from the city jail over.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So how did you? Okay, so you're walking into the you're already in the county, right? Where the sheriff's run it. You're walking in there.
Yep.
Was it like a something big, like your case is, or is it just like just you two, or when you're in like small? I don't know if your city's small or whatever, but I'm assuming like for example, like mine, it was a huge bus, so it's like when you got there, like did you already hear like did people know or like you know what I'm saying?
So mine wasn't a federal indictment. So it wasn't like a RICO case. There wasn't like the feds came and got a bunch of us at one time. It
Oh,
was just
okay.
a drug. It was kind of like he was known to be a drug dealer, and the police were just pulling us over because they seen his face. And so
Ah,
here in Milwaukee, at that time, the police would come out in what we call trains, and they would come out and ride in detective cars, 3, 4 detectives per car, and they would ride like 3 or 4 cars deep. And they would
mm-hmm.
just bust people down, like they would pull people over, known people, people who they know,
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah.
just try to, find. So I say he was pretty known. So that was why they pulled us over. So it wasn't like something big. We knew they were coming, or they had a case already.
Okay.
So it wasn't a federal case. So I end up going to the county, and then I was in jail for a little while, and for a couple days, and they gave me a bail. My bail was $7,500. Again, I was on the phone crying, and
Oh,
I
crybaby.
end up bailing. Right, I'm a big crybaby. I end up bailing out from the county jail for the $7,500. So that was in July, and then I kept going to court. And in September, the feds picked up his case. They told us that he was federally indicted. And then the next time I went to court in October, that's when I was told that I was being federally indicted. Well,
Oh.
and so then that's when the feds picked me up, and so that's when I knew that I was indicted.
So What were your charges? Like, what exactly did they charge you for?
Possession with intent to deliver or possession with intent to distribute a cocaine base. So it was for crack cocaine, 5 grams or more.
Ah,
So at that time, it wasn't a lot. It was only 32 grams, which I was really surprised. Like the feds are picking this for 32 grams. Like I just couldn't believe it. But at that time, we still were under those old laws. I know those laws kind of have changed, and has had released some of
the crack
the
law. No,
inmates in
that's
federal
for me
prison.
too because
Yeah,
I got charged for the same thing, distribution of crack cocaine base or whatever the fuck. So, so you're like,
yeah.
what the
So
heck? How did was it
in
just?
my mind, I'm like, nope, for 2 grams. Like, I thought this was a joke.
So you go to court, right? You're in court, and you're like, okay, the feds are picking it up. What did you feel like? Was it just you two, like for it, or was it just, or was it like more people? Like, how did it become a case? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, nope. Our case was always just me and my co-defendant. There wasn't extra people on it. So it was just us two.
Keep it in the back. So you got charged. You got sentenced for. How long did you? How many? What was your sentencing?
So I was sentenced to 60 months.
Okay.
And I actually went to trial.
Oh, well,
So I
tell
tried
us a little bit
to.
more about that. You know, it's kind of crazy to go to trial for a federal case.
Yeah,
Scary.
so they originally came. Yeah, I was really scared, but they originally came back with a plea for 2.5 years in. And I took the plea, and then the DA came back and said that her supervisor would not accept the plea. And so they thought that I knew more and I wasn't telling them enough on my co-defendant. They really wanted me to tell them more information on my co-defendant, and I just
Yeah.
kind of was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know, and so they really just wanted me to tell more, and so they didn't really accept the plea, and so my lawyer was like, well, we're going to trial. If they don't want to give us a plea, then we're going to trial. So I went to trial. I was found guilty. Um,
Uh,
but
how,
the trial the trial was about 2 days long. And originally, right before the trial, they tried to get me to take a plea for 8 years. So I got less than what they offered me. So I guess it's kind of good that I did go to trial, and I got my mandatory minimum, which was 60 months, but I didn't get anything over that. So,
so you were
and I
fighting
think on the scale of years,
when you were fighting your case. You bailed out, so you never really were in jail.
not until when they found me guilty, the judge kept me in custody.
You're
I
crying.
was falling. That was my first time. So I actually went to so for federal inmates, they don't house you at the Milwaukee County Jail. They house you in like a small county jail, which was Waukesha County Jail. So that was my first time. So I went there, and I had to wait to be sentenced.
How was your experience there? Like, you know, like, 'cause it's a little county. Like, like how is it? Like, how does it look? The food, like, you know, your how was that for you?
The food was terrible there. And then there's no hot water or anything like that. So I basically lived off of like chips and candy until I was sent to prison. And like I said, we had noodles, but they weren't that great. It was something you kind of had to like scarf down just to get through it.
Through to survive.
Um, it was super small. I think it was like 8 of us in the pod. So it was like
Oh,
these same 8 girls. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not big at all. Like I hear all your crazy county stories. I didn't have that.
I was about to ask you, like, okay, so what was the craziest thing you heard that happened at that location?
See. We didn't. It was so small. We didn't have like any crazy things going on. I mean, we would get. It was a couple of us that were federal inmates.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think there was only, if I'm not mistaken, it was just me and one other girl that was a federal inmate in there, and the rest of them were county jail. And so I was like in an intake pod, so we
Mm-hmm.
constantly had girls coming and going. A lot of girls like drug addicts. A lot of girls, sorry, a
It's
lot of
okay.
girls like detoxing and stuff. That's probably how crazy it was.
That was probably the craziest thing you saw. Those was the girls detoxing.
Yeah.
Uh so
Mhm.
when you got to the so then when you they told you, hey, okay, you're going to this, you're getting your destination is what, Wasika, or where did you where did you end up?
And so from the Waukesha County Jail, they took me to Kenosha County Jail. I think Kenosha County Jail was the worst county jail I've ever been to.
Why do you
That
say
was
that?
like, it reminds me. Do you remember that movie Mile, where they
Yes.
had the jails with like the bars? That's actually how it was, and it was like the shower was in the day room, so it was right underneath the TV, and they only turned the shower on from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So you had to get it up within those 2 hours to make sure you shower, but it's right under the TV, so like you're showering and everybody, your head is like you're underneath the TV, so it's crazy.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, that was the worst. So I was there for 6 weeks, and then from there they drove me actually to Milwaukee's considered pretty small, or Wisconsin. So they drove
Wisconsin.
me to yeah. So they drove me all the way to Illinois, and then I got on a plane there in the airport in Illinois.
What you got on the Con Air, or was it a regular plane?
No, it was the Conair. It was
It
the
was a Con Air.
Conair.
So you're walk okay. So you're like, okay, they're taking, you're in transit, right? And you get to the
I mean,
you get to the freaking airport, and what did you see? Like, because I remember my experience. Like, I'm seeing, and there's like 20 marshals on each line. Like, you're walking into the, like, tell us about that.
yeah, it's like you said, all you see is police everywhere, these big guns, and you're like, man, and you can barely walk, and you got your shackles, you're trying to get on this plane. Um, I remember it going up and down. We obviously made a lot of stops. We stopped in like Indiana. I remember we had to make an emergency stop. Somebody had a seizure. One of the males had a seizure. So we had to make emergency stop, and we were stuck on the plane for like 4 hours just sitting there
Let me ask you this
in
really
this
quick though. This is besides like the little story. When you're in the airplane, did you want to go use the restroom? And when you were walking, what did the guys say to you?
I don't think I had to use the bathroom. I didn't have to use the bathroom.
Because when you're in
I
the
was
plane
so
with the
nervous.
males, it's like something
Oh
is
yeah,
always going
they
on.
be yelling. They be yelling their inmate number. They're like, call me. Like, oh
Man,
yeah, I'm gonna remember. That's what I'm thinking about. I mean, not to call you. They're like, write me, and they're yelling their name and their inmate number for you to write them. Like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm on my way to prison, and you think I'm gonna remember your inmate number?
oh, that's funny. So you're up and down. The guy had a seizure. How did they handle that? How did the marshals handle the guy having a seizure?
I know they had to call a nurse or something. It was crazy. I think they ended up taking them to a hospital, but we were like stuck because they had to get it like all secure, and since it was an emergency landing, like they weren't ready, so they couldn't let nobody off the plane, and they had to
Yeah.
get marshals there. Then they had to get like a nurse there that would be able to get on a plane. So it was like kind of crazy, us sitting there for all that time. I definitely was hungry and ready to get to my destination. I don't think we made it to Oklahoma like really late at night.
Did you stay at the Oklahoma Transit Center?
I stayed there overnight, and then like I said, we got there so late. We got there later than they expected us to
Uh
get
huh.
there. And then I flew out right morning over to Minnesota. So I wasn't there. I couldn't even tell you any Oklahoma experiences because flew in and flew right back
You were
out.
so tired, you don't remember anything. I know that feeling, which is like that's why I
I don't.
laugh. I laugh because I know that feeling. And it's just like funny. Like I'm just thinking about it. Like and it's just like now all I can do is laugh about it, right? But at the moment, it's just like man, I just
Right.
want to go to sleep.
I can't believe this is life. What is going on?
Oh shit! And you're like this girl, little girly girl. She's not used to any of this.
No. Oh,
Oh, that's
I
funny.
just was like, this can't be like.
You said this can't be life.
I remember just really scared. I didn't know
Oh, she's.
you down and talking about the compound, and I'm like, I am so scared.
You're scared. All right, so you fly out. Did you always know you were gonna end up in Minnesota, or that was just like when you got there? That's when you knew.
When I got there, that's when I knew. Well, I think when we got on a plane, I think they told us, where our final destination was. But I didn't know where I was going until then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous.
No, it's definitely nerve wracking. So you get to Minnesota. Tell us that process of you just walking in. You're like, how long did it, like, where did they take you? How long did it take for you to even get out of, like, how you go and they took you to the shoe or whatever for a little bit? Tell us about that.
So yep, they didn't take us to the shoe. I think the compound was had room for us right away. So we went to the compound the day we got there. It was probably like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when we went to the compound. Um I just remember walking out and just having all those blankets and stuff in my hand and just looking around like I had no clue where to go. I was just so nervous. Like, I remember them giving me a room in the basement of B unit. So but going like I was just super nervous and like I in my mind I love thinking like, oh my god, like I have to do 5 years here. Like this is never gonna end. Like 5 years seems so far away. Um and I remember like the first couple days, like I was scared to go in the TV room. I was scared to mingle. I was scared to say hello to people. Like I was nervous.
So it took you a few days to like break out of it. After obviously,
Yeah.
once you start getting it, like, what was your routine like in there?
I was lazy as shit. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have any routine. I wasn't the person that worked out. I didn't do anything. I didn't want to do my laundry. I didn't cook. I paid everybody to do everything for me. I was super lazy. But my routine, I tried to get like the simplest jobs they had. So my routine was basically getting up. Uh, Sometimes I would get up for breakfast, just depending on what it was, and then probably sleep it all day until lunch. And then once lunch was done, then I would probably go on a compound and go to rec and stuff like that. But I didn't have a big routine. I watched a lot of TV. Love and Hip Hop was like a big show in there. So like, you get ready for your shows every day. Um, but I feel like I met a lot of good people there. Like you really meet good people. Um, I was fortunate to have a lot of support. I think I met so many women in there who don't have the support.
Yeah, I was about to ask you
And so
that
you have
about
to
your
find
family support. Like, you weren't alone. You had your family there. You were able to call. Did they send you money? Like, tell me a bit more about that. Like, did you have a relationship with? Do you have kids?
Yep. So I have 3 kids. One I have, she's 8. I had her when I came home. At the time, I had 2 boys, and one was 8, and one was about, well, he was 8 or 9, and the other one was like 3 or 4 when I left. Um, had a lot of family support. My oldest son actually lived with my mom and dad, went to prison, and then my cousin actually took my son, and she didn't do anything where like she went through the court systems. Like everything she did it on her own. So like she didn't get any support, any money, any help. And the reason why she did that was because she didn't want it to be hard for me to get custody of him. She didn't want me to have to like try to go through like
That was very nice.
classes or go through court to get him. So my family took really good care of my children while I was gone. Um they came to visit me. They put money on my books. I could call home whenever I got mail, magazines. If I called home and wanted books, magazines. So they were always consistent through my whole time being in there, and even just coming home, they were really supportive for me.
That is very nice. It's really good to hear that because a lot of times, you know how it is. I obviously met you in there. Like we were friends. We
Hmm.
watched videos together. Like we were in the same unit together. I remember when you walked in. Like we were friends.
Yeah,
Um, it's
yeah,
it's definitely like us seeing so many different people that really didn't have family there for them, and it's you had
hmm,
visits. I never had a visit just due to the fact that it was just so far away, and
yeah.
it's definitely a blessing, and it does make your time way better. Way easier when you have
It
people
does.
there. Sometimes it could be a little hard, just when just because just hearing stories of your children, like your boys were always there. I
Hmm.
remember seeing pictures of them. Wheezy, what was his name? What's his name?
Hmm.
That's your oldest, right?
Weezy, Weezy, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
Um,
in the middle. We fun.
okay. So yeah, that's definitely always good to hear that you did have that
Yeah,
support
you always
system.
feel. I remember. Yeah, I just remember so many women, that didn't have visits, that didn't have money on their books. Who had to do extra things to, just to make canteen or buy just the essentials like soap and toothpaste and things
Yes.
like that because you don't want to use what they got there.
Yes.
Um, and so I always remember that, and I think that is it was really a blessing to have my family there. So I'm always grateful for them.
That's right. I
I think the the hardest thing for me was that my mom wouldn't come visit me, and she said she just wouldn't come visit me because she didn't want to see me like that, and she was like, I can't take you home with me. So she was like, I'll see you when you come home. But she would write me consistently, and she would send me money, and she would always send the sweetest cards. And I think right at the end of my bid, my mom passed away, and I think that was the
I'm sorry.
hardest thing for me. Okay. So I think that was the hardest experience, being locked away and you can't get to your family, um and just what do you do? What is it that you say? You get to say anything to your mom. You don't get to say goodbye. And I remember like vividly walking into the psychiatrist room with the counselor, and them telling me I'm actually put in for extra halfway house time because of my mom's
Uh-huh.
illness. So what they were waiting for was paperwork from my mom's doctor. And they had got all the paperwork and they had sent it in, and they my paperwork was already gone to where did it used to go, like somewhere in Texas, I think, where they would tell us how much halfway house time we would get,
I know what
like
you're talking.
approved.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't actually know the name for it either.
Yeah, so I was approved for extra halfway house time because of my mother, and then we were just waiting for my date to come back.
Uh-huh.
You have to wait for the date, and she did it. She passed away, and she didn't make it. And I think that was my hardest thing that I
Of
had to deal with.
course.
And then on top of that, they didn't give me my halfway house time, my extra halfway house time. So, but yeah, I think that was the hardest experience, the hardest thing I had to deal with in prison.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. I would, like that's just like the worst thing ever, like not being able to be there when your mother passes away, and you haven't seen her in all these years because she didn't want to see you like that,
Hmm. Yeah, I think I think that's the worst thing.
That's the worst thing you experience while being incarcerated. Yeah, I don't think it gets any worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Let's change
Yep.
subject.
But I made it through.
No, you made it. We made it. We're still here making it.
Right.
Um, did you
Right.
did you make any spreads while being and incarcerated? Like food.
Big food.
Like
I would. You got people to cook for me.
so, guys, Mercedes didn't cook while she was incarcerated at all. She was spoiled. She just pay
I
everybody
never
to
remember.
cook for her.
No, I did pay everybody. I pay everybody to do everything. I'm like laundry,
No, she
food,
paid
all that.
everybody to do all her stuff.
Listen, I had bills up the wazoo when it was time for me to go to canteen. To go to the store, I was paying people back what I owed them for taking care of me while I was in there. But again, I met really great people.
Yeah, no, there. I've met a lot of great people as well.
Did
Like
you make food in there?
I mean, look, yeah, I make spreads for myself all the time.
See, I did it. I was like late.
All right. Well, I just want to give a quick shout out to
I
our
don't need
sponsors,
you asking me how to make it
spreads. Say it one more time.
now. Right.
Okay.
No, I was saying like if you ask me to make a spread now, I don't even know how to make it.
Oh yeah, that's because you weren't spreading in there. That's fine. Not everybody does. I like them, and I mean I still make them, not on the daily, right? And I don't make spreads on the daily, but when I get the little craving, I will make myself a spread. Pretty fire.
Yeah.
All right, let's
They
see.
were good though. They were good. They were good.
What was the craziest thing you experienced or saw while being in prison?
What was the craziest thing? Tried not to be in drama. Let me think.
Try not to be in drama.
I didn't really get right. Like I didn't get in a lot of trouble. I don't feel like. One thing I used to get in trouble for a lot is altered clothing. I used to love wearing altered clothing. All my clothes were mostly altered.
So that was the craziest thing you did, alter your clothes. That's because you're small. You're always
I
small.
think I went to the shoe for altered clothing.
Oh shit! So is that how you lost your time? You
Yeah,
went to the
those like
shoe for
classic
altering
things.
your clothes?
Yep. So I was going down main line one day, and I can't even remember who it was, but they were like, "Come here," and they were like, they was like, "Is your shirt altered?" I was like, "No," and they were like checking, and it was like all altered. My green shirt was altered, so it was like destroying. It wasn't even like a altered shirt that I got from canteen or anything. So because it was their property, I altered their property. It was like I can't even remember what it was, like altering, damaging federal property or
Yeah,
something.
I
And
think
I
that's
lost like 5 good days for that.
5. I thought you were gonna say so many more.
It was a lot. No, it wasn't a bunch, but I sat in the shoe for a week. That was terrible sitting in that
Okay,
shoe.
especially okay, yeah, that's actually so you sat in the shoe for 5 days. 5 days only, guys, just 5 days, right? And let's remember, Mercedes never actually been in jail or like in a locked cell through all this time until she
No.
gets to the shoe, because even when she gets to Minnesota, she's in the door, like in the basement, which is all open. So tell us about these
Yep.
5 days in the shoe.
Oh, it was terrible. You get an hour out per day if you want to go out. I don't think I ever went out. Um, but I remember like people coming to yell for me at at the medical line. They would yell. You can hear your friends and people like that yelling. like, "Are you okay?" and stuff like that. So, or people in C unit when they would go outside, they can see you, so they would be yelling out to you, like sending you messages and things like that. So I remember that, but it was I didn't go out much, so I was just happy. Like, you had to wait to see you had to go to kind of like a court in the shoe. And so I was happy that when they finally called me to go see those people, and
DHO,
they tell
right?
me
DHO.
what my what DHO. There you go. So
DHO.
then my sanction was I lost my. So I was excited though to get out of there. Like, thank God.
You were able to go take a shower. I remember you would always do your hair, or like, you know.
I did my.
Tell us about your
I
how
still
your
own my
self care,
hair, girl.
because people always say, like, how are you guys in the feds always look cute or whatever in your pictures. Tell us your skincare. Your How did you take care of yourself?
So for skin, I use that St. Ives facial scrub. And what's crazy is I still use that at home now. I still use St. Ives, the apricot facial scrub. That is like my favorite scrub. So I use that still. But that's all I really used. I love summertime. I love tanning. We had the little tanning hide in Wasika. That was something I like to do in the
Oh,
definitely always
okay,
credit hair.
wait,
Makeup was
wait.
really in
Wait,
there. I bought makeup.
you cut
Yeah.
off. You cut off. You're saying that you like to tan?
Yep.
Tell us, where did you use to tan?
So there was an area in the rec area that they had designated just for you to tan. And it was just like grass. So you go out there, you bring your towel and lay out there, bring your bottle of water, your spray bottle. So when you get hot, you spray
Where's
yourself.
that?
But there was like designated lay in,
They used to
and you
get packed, huh?
that tanning was popular in Wasika too,
Not
by the
for
way.
me. Just so you guys know, I never tan. And if I would go lay there for a little bit, I would just cover myself because I'm black.
There. Oh yeah.
Oh, I could.
Lunch,
It's like
I
super,
would go right out because then nobody.
super choppy. I don't know if you're able to hear me, but I could barely hear you. It keeps like going in and out. I think it's just like the
But you
connection.
would walk the track and work out a lot, huh? So you.
Yeah, no, I did work out a lot and I did walk the track like every day. That was like my thing. I would work out like twice a day sometimes as I was getting closer to going home.
It is.
So another question. How long after, when did you find out your release date? Since you got 60 months, like, did you go to the drug program? Like, did you do anything?
I can hear
Did you,
you.
did you do anything crazy? Like, did you go to school? Like, when did you find out if you were going to did you go to a drug program? I think we lost connection, guys. Let's see if it comes back. Cause I can't hear her at all. She's frozen. But thank you, everybody.
I went to drug pro.
Yeah, it's really rough. Like bad. Cause she could hear me, but I can't hear her whatsoever.
The drug.
No. Yeah, no, her connection is really bad.
Call her, tell her to exit and come back in.
You want to exit and come back in? Yeah, she did.
You want to call her, make sure? Address the chat.
Hold on, guys. Okay, so I'm right here. I'm gonna message her, see if she wants to come back in. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. I hope you guys are enjoying the interview. I know it's kind of a little, the reception is really bad. Yeah, she's not even looking at it.
Why don't you just call her? Right now? That silence is not bad.
I know.
Are you calling her?
Yeah.
I'm joining it. I'm rejoining it.
Okay, you're joining it back?
Yep, like I can hear you, and you sound clear.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to hear it. The last thing I heard completely was the whole tanning thing.
It says join with Streamlabs.
No, don't do that one. Just the regular join.
It doesn't let me join. Let's try.
Sorry, guys. We are having technical difficulties. But
So did she say it's not letting her?
it's
join
not
the
letting
network?
her join.
It's loading now.
Yeah, I think it's just the reception is just bad.
Try again. Yeah, it doesn't even give me like that.
Yeah, it's not letting her give it the option.
For life's messes, Pergo offers Duracraft luxury.
See how it's grayed out?
Yeah, it's not even letting her. Yeah, she doesn't have an option. It is just what it is. Sorry, guys. We had technical difficulties, but thank you for watching Indicted.
What did you say?
What did you say?
It just the join button just comes up.
Yeah, just the join button pops up, but it doesn't let her do anything.
So when she clicks it, it don't do shit?
No.
Wait, I just clicked it. Okay, failed to connect. Try it. My internet is on though.
Yeah. We're gonna just have to end it probably. All right, we're probably just gonna have to end it. But thank you for coming on.
Okay, thank you for having me.
No, of course. I'll message you shortly.
Okay.
Okay. My apologies, guys. We had technical difficulties. Don't forget to like and share and follow us on Instagram.